So just like the Pisces reading, Spirit started before I was ready, so I have to spill it before I forget it. Sagittarius, I've been drawn to a lot of humble energies, which is positive. Wow. I was getting a lot of energies of you guys have been through a lot of suffering, some very deep suffering. And this is like, it may not be a physical sickness, it may just be depression, but you're just like the quiet warriors, like in terms just of a metaphor. Let's say it's like an illness, and you get this illness and you don't tell anybody. You just go in the corner and you deal with your shit and until it's gone. And like if anybody tries to come in and like give you sympathy, you're just very like anti that. You're like, no, just let me deal with my shit in peace. Whether that has to do with, you may not be like you might not have depression, or yeah, you may not have like clinical depression, but it may just be those moments where you're depressed. And I think the fact that like I can hear y'all saying, don't say that, like you don't want to admit it. You don't want to admit that there's something or that anything has ever caused you to feel depressed. But that's what I'm getting. You guys have had a lot of things that have happened to you that have made you feel depressed. And you just dealt with your shit in silence until you felt like it was done and over with. And that is a very, like, that's just some energy that I could not ignore. Like some very humble warrior energy. Let's see how much that manifests more. Okay, now I knew this was gonna be a juicy one. That's why I waited until today. So the initial energy that I was getting is literally Sages. Well, first of all, I would just love to add that when it rains, it floods. Maybe that manifests in your own life where, you know, you go through periods where things are really good, and then instead of it just being like, oh, here's a setback, it's like all the setbacks. But the reason that I even was drawn to that energy is because that's how I feel about you. I did not know shit about Sagittarius at all. And I like literally borderline forgot that they even existed on a zodiac chart until my freshman year of college. I realized that literally every single person in my life was a Sagittarius. And the initial energies that I've been getting is like, literally, y'all are just a ball of fire. The best visual, oh no, don't knock anything over. The best, ew, get your dick out of the camera. Nobody wants to see your pee-pee. Go. But, you guys are literally just little balls of fire. Like, you just go, 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 go. And fire is energy. You guys literally embody energy. That's why I'm feeling so much of it. Like, that's why I can't even like go on my, like usually I do a little walk and I like bring myself to center, but I couldn't because your energy was just like, hey bitch, we're right here, we're ready. Like, and you guys are the type of energy where like everywhere you walk, you're literally a ball of fire, and every step you take leaves like a little flame in the earth. You guys are just, you leave marks everywhere you go. You affect every person that you encounter. People are drawn to you just like that flame. They see it, and it's like everyone that is around you craves you. You're a very like a very like addictive personality type of vibes there. And also I saw this shirt that made me think of Sag energy, or I saw it, and then when I was envisioning the energy I thought of it, and it's like, you're the type of person where like when you wake up and your feet hit the ground, the devil's like, oh shit, you know, like they're up, god damn it, you know. You guys are very fun and like devil may cry energy. You do. You don't think, you just, I wouldn't say that. You do think about it, but like you consider things and you just don't give a fuck. Whatever sparks that inner fire, like logic, is there, but you just shove it under the rug. You're like, oh, no, I'm gonna follow this fire. Like, fuck anything, fuck logic, fuck what people think. I'm doing the damn thing, whatever that fire is. And oh my God, like, all I'm picturing is this is like Sag versus me, okay? Like, in the morning, I dated a Sag, and every morning he was literally like a little ball of fire, bouncing off the walls everywhere, getting up super early, like music blaring, crazy, crazy. I'm just in the corner. Back when I smoked cigs, I was just in the corner with a coffee and a cigarette, just like that's me versus y'all. Like, in the mornings, I'm like, let's. Sag is just like, I wanna go all night, you know, like, you just go, and that is so inspiring for somebody like me, I must say. And with that comes the mental habits that y'all need to break. I feel like, first of all, remember what I said, that logic going out the window? I think to a certain extent you've been feeling that's probably what that rains, it floods, you know. When there's certain aspects of shit that you're ignoring, you know, it takes a long time for that kind of stuff to manifest against you. And I feel like that's really where anything that feels like super heavy comes from. And that's probably why it feels so heavy for you. Because if you are a Sagittarius, you guys are very smart. Very, 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 very smart. You embody energy. You embody fire. So even just down to like psychic awareness and like power, I wouldn't even say like you guys are smart. I mean, you are, but when you feel smart, it's not because you know facts. It's because you know people. And it's because you have this intuition and this awareness, and it's just strong, and you just know that you're on this higher vibration than most people. You have this awareness that most people don't have, and it doesn't come from any factual things. It's intellect, it's vibes, it's that fire. You feel that fire. That's intuition. So like, it's like you just know when people are not right or lying to you. You're just very intuitive like that, because that fire will let you know when you know, you just, that internal flame, you'll feel, you get those feelings and you know. And when you ignore those feelings and everything kind of comes crashing down, it hurts. It hurts really bad for you, just because it hits your confidence. That's like a big blow to the one thing that you pride yourself on the most. And especially being a fire sign, that is very, it hurts a lot. You feel stupid, and that's something that it puts you in a very bad place, because you know you're not stupid. But just take it from me, you know, there are people that will go through, like, they'll do some shit where you're like, wow, okay, there's literally no logistical way. And that's also the thing. I said you guys are very smart logically. So you'll feel that fire, but when logic comes into the play, you know, somebody's doing a lot of things. Like, even in my experience, somebody will spend months of energy, and like, they'll cry, and they'll do these things where you're like, there's no physical, intellectual way that this is not, like, you'll just kind of, that's the initial energy I had was inner delusion. You've just kind of been deluding yourself, and I think that's why you ignore that flame, that feeling inside, because logistically it makes sense to ignore it. You're like, well, like, there's no possible way, there's no logical way that this person could be bullshitting you. There's no logical way that this could be bullshit. But that feeling, and then you ignore it because logistically you shouldn't, and then it just fucks you up. And that's that inner debating. You've been in a very, like I said, you're using logic to turn yourself away from your instincts. So that's where that was. Because I'm not going to lie, when I first saw that that was the energy that I was feeling, because I wrote it down a while ago, I was like, what? That sounds kind of negative, you know, like deluding yourself. And it just didn't make sense with the Sagittarius that I know. But I think that does make sense, because trust me, sister has been there. Literally just recently, a motherfucker was doing some next level shit where I was like, okay, I don't feel right, but like he's literally bawling. Like, how could he not be like so sensitive, you know? Somebody can literally be bawling in front of you saying, I don't want to get hurt, and then they'll like fuck you over and hurt you. Like, you never know. And I ignored that feeling. Same thing. I was like, oh, there's no way. Here we are, you know. And initially, before I even get into the cards, I just would like to add that in those moments where you really feel, because yeah, oh my God, that's literally why I wrote that down. Like, at that time, I was in a Sagittarius mentality. I was going through that shit, and that's what you guys are going through. You know, those moments where you ignore your logic, or you ignore your intuition because of logic. You will, because I did too. You just sit there and think, like I said, you take it out on yourself and your intellection. You're like, how could I be so stupid? Like, how, like, you just feel dumb. And for me too, like, I get that. Like, nothing angers me and hurts me more. Like, somebody could literally like walk up to me and smack me in the face, and I'd be like, cool. But if you make me feel stupid or turn me against myself like this, turn you against your internal feelings, that's when mama's hurt. She's mad, she's sad, she's angry, you know. That's what that is. And you need to just remember that the reason that things happen is for a reason. It's nothing in your control. Even like, aside from all of that shit, all of the intuition and all of the knowledge, there's nothing. You have to release the idea that there's anything that you could have done to change it. And you have to embody that and just really consider, okay, well, it happened. There's nothing I could have done. There's nothing I can do now. What's the lesson? And for me, that literally was the lesson. Like, never ignore your intuition. Like, I was so happy that that happened, because I was like, man, I've never been so physically, I mean, I wouldn't even say that. My whole childhood was very, very traumatically manipulative and weird and scary. Well, we don't need to get into that. But, you know, like, there's a lot of things that happen that'll just kind of really push the idea of physicality not mattering. And just take it as that lesson, so that you don't ever have to, so that you can walk with that shell, you can walk with that protection of knowing, you know, oh, hi, spider. Is that a spider? No, it's not. Fuck you. I only like spiders. So you can walk around with that knowledge and that awareness, so that it can never happen again, so that somebody can say something to you, and when you get that feeling like, okay, I just don't feel right though, then you can know, like, okay, fuck logic, that's bullshit. Just use that. That's medicine, that's strength. Everything that happens to you is a test. Don't look at it as like, wow, I was stupid. Look at it as, wow, okay, what can I learn from this? This is what I'm learning. Lesson fucking learned, you know. Put it in your back pocket and just like let her go, you know. Okay, so Queen of Cups, that already makes sense with just Sagittarius in general. You guys are a very Queen of Cups is like the pinnacle of the feminine aspects of emotions. It's like literally like you just rule all of your emotions. You are kind, you're devoted, you're open-minded, you're intuitive, you're compassionate. You just embody all of those feminine aspects, the clairvoyance. You don't judge, and it's even just vulnerability. You're very openly not afraid to be vulnerable. You're not afraid to open your mind. You're not you're not afraid to be kind. And And then Knight of Pentacles is in reverse. So I think you have all of these strengths emotionally. You have a lot emotionally that you're not afraid of. You're not afraid to feel them. But the Knight of Pentacles is usually represents somebody offering you Pentacles energy, offering respect. And in reverse, it's a very, somebody who's holding back respect, somebody containing Pentacles energy. Any earthly things, you're just kind of really not giving them away. You're holding them back. Yeah, I think emotionally you're cool. You don't care. You have your heart on your sleeve in terms of your emotions and your vulnerability. But in terms of like physical reality and physical things, and maybe that includes yourself, you don't actually give yourself to anybody. You really stick to yourself type of energy. Yeah, and then Four of Cups comes up. That's like emotional stability. It draws the energy of coming back, stepping away, and just kind of, it's a very introspective, looking inward to find emotional stability. You don't look outward. You very much, it's a very exhausting energy. It's like stepping away and figuring something out, and you're just putting all of your energy into trying to stabilize those emotions. Tell me more. Your girl. Yeah, the Sun came up, which is the conscious. It's not the unconscious. So it's everything that's known, everything that, like all of the knowledge that you already have. It represents truth and positivity. Everything that is illuminated is cozy. What's unknown is not cozy because you don't know. And yeah, I think you get very, especially that ball of fire that I said that you get very lost in what is known and what is positive, so that when your worst fears come to light, you just become very hopeless, and you have a lot of internal worry and anxiety. And I think it's because of that. It's that internal debate, when that shit happens to you, that makes you feel like, it makes you feel as a result, like you can't trust yourself. So it's like, that you're emotionally stable and you don't really care. You don't care about like emotions and shit. Like, you'll still be vulnerable. You'll still love. You'll still be compassionate. But internally, you're just very like wounded. You're like, it's more like, it's not a heart on your sleeve. It's like, I don't care, do your worst type of energy. That's very self-abusive. Tell me more. Yeah, this is something that you have been through. The Chariot in reverse, that's, the Chariot going forward is like momentum, movement, and it's like you got the horses, you're in the reins, and it's moving. But in reverse, it's like feeling like you have no control and you're being pulled away from your desires. And in terms of like knowledge, you're very witty. You really know how to get what you want, even if there's a little bit of deception, which in a sense is very necessary, because take it from me, like, you can't just walk around this world and expect to be the same with every person. You have to change yourself situationally. And I think you're very good at that. You're very good at shape-shifting and shifting for situations to get what you want. even just from the Sagittariuses I know, yes, that's y'all. Like, the Sagittarius that I dated, like, all he'd ever have to do is have a single conversation with somebody, and they were just literally spilling everything that they had. They're like, here, take this, take that. Like, you know, they just throw everything at your feet. You're a very witty person in that sense. And this regression, whatever is making you feel like you're being pulled away from your desires, it's really, oh, hi. It's really made you lose your appetite for life. It really made you lose your zest for life, which hurts, because passion, y'all. You remember what I said about when you wake up, the devil's like, oh boy. Well, the devil card came up, but it's in reverse. So I think you've just lost that. You've lost sight of that devil may cry attitude, like whatever. And it's because, you're not trusting yourself anymore. You know, the setback, the flood, when it rained, it flooded really hard. And ever since then, it's like you've just been like, I wouldn't even say scared, just reluctant to opening that back up, opening that zest back up. Like, you got set back so far that it's like, all right, it's not like you're scared. It's just like I said that logistic. You're like, well, can't do it anymore. Like, that's done and over with. And then this card snuck out without me even wanting to, so I'm going to let her do her thing. And that's Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, oh my god, it literally, as I was saying it, this card spilled out. I was like, yeah. Queen of Pentacles in reverse is not trusting yourself. It's feeling unworthy. You don't feel worthy. That's gotta be that, like, you're taking all of these things that are happening to you as, like, now you're not worthy of being able to have that heart on your sleeve energy anymore. It's like, I'm not worthy of that. I fucked up and I'm not smart enough for that. I don't have the wits. I don't have the intuition. I just don't have it. I can't do it. I don't have the knowledge. Upright, she faces adversity. So it's like you can't face adversity anymore. It's like you won't face that status quo, that, like, you're very, like, reluctant to be as outgoing and not giving a fuck. And, like, there was a lot of signs where I was like, you need to give a little bit more fucks. But I'm here to say, you need to, like, first of all, start trusting yourself. Anything that happens to you, like the scenarios I was talking about, where, like, you ignore your intuition or you ignore something, that just means it was meant to happen. And there was nothing that you could have done to keep it from happening. That does not mean that you cannot trust yourself. You need to take the lesson so that you can trust yourself more. And then you need to start embodying that heart on your sleeve energy again, the Fool energy. Open that optimism back up, that devil may cry energy. You need to open that back up. How are they going to open this? Three of Pentacles upright. That's life lessons. Anything in your physical reality that is really teaching you something. You need to embody the lessons. Don't not trust yourself. Don't take life circumstances, Pentacles energy, physical things out on yourself. Page of Batons in reverse. It's somebody that can't be trusted. It's somebody that brings bad news. Tell me more about the page. Oh my god, Page of Cups comes through. So somebody offered you a lot of tender words. They offered a lot of kindness. They were giving you, it seemed like they were offering you a lot of like, I wouldn't even say, there was one reading where it was like a smooth talker. This is like a kind talker. This is somebody that just, they're offering you a lot of kindness, kind words, sweet words, but they really can't be trusted. And they brought you some bad news. And I think that also really made you feel, it disconnected you from that trust in yourself. You're like, I should have known. I should have been able to know. And again, the physical. You can't know everything. Shit is going to happen to you regardless. So get that out of your head that that's ego right there. Like, oh, I am in control. I can control every scenario. I can know when somebody's going to fuck me over. You can't know unless you're supposed to. If you're not meant to, then logic, intuition, think about it. It could have been the other way where logistically somebody could be like totally, logistically it's like, oh, they have to be fucking me over. But spiritually you get a feeling that they're not. But then they still could. You know, it's just you cannot act like it was so in your control, because that's ego, that need to control. You need to release that. I cannot control my circumstance. Things do not happen to me. This energy has showed up in a lot of readings. Just because things happen to you does not mean that you deserve it. You can have really bad karma. I'm just envisioning every Catholic ever. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, you can have really bad karma and still be very well off and will never ever have to have a physical setback or physical struggle in your entire life. That's why I say, like, I went to school with a lot of rich Catholics, and it's literally it. Like, these people were just going to church every Sunday, praising Jesus at this place just so that they could show people, hey, look, do you see me at church? Like, look at me. Physically, I'm at church, so I must be a great person. But then they're going off and just being evil, doing evil things. And it's all illusion. You know, going to church every Sunday does not determine your spirit. But nothing bad happens to these people. If anything, they just make more money. They just have more success. They have less worries. You know, stop thinking that shit happening to you, you deserve it. Like, trust me, you do get what you deserve in this life. But you only know when it happens. Like, man, okay, yes, I did deserve that. You know? Like, not everything is karma. Not everything that happens to you is because you deserve it. Shit just happens. It just does. Like, I know my whole life that I've been a very, you know, I've always given what nobody else is willing to give, which is realness, that's compassion, even down to physical things. I don't care. I have that same energy, that heart on your sleeve, like, do your worst. You can't hurt me. And I always said, you know, you're going to attract good things because you have this good heart. And shit has happened to me constantly. Constantly. And I've never once said, like, well, you deserve, I mean, I probably have, but, like, at least after going through some, like, internal healing, I always say, just, you don't deserve that. You have to keep that mentality. When shit happens to you, mantra, I don't deserve this. I don't. Embody that you don't deserve everything that happens to you. Sometimes it's just a test of strength. Sometimes it's just a scenario that you are meant to get out of so that you can say, man, I'm strong. And then that's a good heart. That's going to attract good karma. And that's why you can't take those things as like, man, I have bad karma. You have to take that as, that's testing you. That is a test of your heart so that spirit can see how good you are and how much you deserve good things. And sometimes it manifests in real life. That's the beauty of heaven. Sometimes it's never going to be physical. sometimes you're never going to get a physical blessing for how good your heart was. But when you pass on, everything good will be waiting for you. I'm sorry if you're not a spiritual person, but that's just the awareness you need. Because sometimes it will never manifest physically. And you just got to be okay with that. But sometimes it does. And take it from me, 21 years of setbacks and very deeply scarring traumas later, I'm just kind of starting to have some things happen that are not fucking me over. Like some instances where I'm like, man, I'm actually getting a blessing, you know? And that's the point, is like once you release all of these ideas of like what you think you deserve, you just release and let go and just say, I don't know how, but I'm just going, you know, I know my heart is good and what I really deeply deserve is going to come. And you can't know what it's going to be, but when it comes to you, you're going to say, that is such a blessing. That is because my heart is pure. That is because my soul is good. That is because I deserve it. And if you have these expectations, you're just going to get let down and everything's going to suck to you. Nothing's going to be good enough, you know. But that's not the way to live. Everything's good enough if you just let go of that, you know, anymore. Yeah, this is literally like the same message of every other card. Loss, defeat, bad news, fear, anxiety. You're really, that all of that stems from a lack of trust. And 6 brings me to love, energies of love. You're scared to love. You have your heart on your sleeve, but when it comes to your deep self, you're scared. Maybe if you are not in a relationship, you are avoiding love. And if you are in a relationship, I think you're just, anytime you feel love, you get scared. That's what that fear and anxiety is. You're like, I know I love this person, but I can't trust myself. Am I going to get fucked over? You need to release that. Release that fear. No, you will get what you deserve. Your heart is pure. Your heart is pure, and your karma is good. And you don't know how it's going to manifest. There's no way to tell how it will manifest. Yeah, you feel like there's more to come. That's that anxiety. You feel like, you know, just because you had a really low blow and a defeat, you feel like there's a lot, like there's looming obstacles, like there has to be more. There's going to be so much more. And I'm here to say there is. Again, there always will be, but you cannot expect it. If you live in this fear and you act out of a state of fear, you're not able to, your mind is not able to work properly. It's not going to be able to work from a place of self. It will only work from a place of fear that makes you, that manifests in impulsive decisions. And that's going to deepen that lack of trust in yourself because you're not able to act on yourself. So you are going to start making decisions that are going to fuck you over more. And it's like the vicious cycle. Yeah. In order to persevere, in order to move on, you have to let go of that control. You have to let go of the idea that you are in control of your reality. Lots of people out here, Taurus especially here, control freaks, and that's ego. Anything in your mind that stems from a place of you needing to know or you needing to just be aware or be in control of anything physical, that's ego, because that's not true. It's delusion. That is illusion. Knight of Swords comes through. And that is a very like fearless person. Swords speak of intellect And it's somebody who just fearlessly carries their intellect and stands up for what is right. They charge, towards any ignorance. They're like, I know I have all of the answers. I know I am right, and I will risk anything to show, just to come out victorious. I think that's the energy. Like, once you let go of that ego, you're going to be able to feel like this Knight of Swords. Like, instead of not trusting yourself, that is going to be how you are going to feel about yourself. You're going to be like, I have my mind, and this is my tool. This is my weapon. My mind is not something that I do not trust. It is something that I'm using to charge life, to take control of I don't even want to say that because that's ego, but to fearlessly challenge anything in life. That's trusting yourself deep. That's not even just trusting yourself. That's like, you trust yourself so much that is like your weapon. You remember what I said before, your intuition? It's like, once you trust yourself, you become this literal like tool. And that's why people are so drawn to you, because they need that tool. They're like, oh, that's something I'm never going to be able to have. And that's where you're going to be stepping into. And Page of Swords. Okay, so both of the swords, yeah, that's intellect. Page of Swords is somebody with very strong perspective and perception. They, you don't just look at the details. You look at the very broad picture. And because of that, you have it's a special level of wisdom. Yeah, very insightful. Also, it's an omen that some important information is coming. Here, tell me more about this. Yeah. Some information is coming, and it has to do with a Four of Pentacles energy, which is literally like stability of reality. So anything in your physical reality, like your career, your vessel, your, food, things, anything visual, physical, this card brings a lot of energies that your worth is based off of the physical things. And I think the important information is going to come that is going to really drive you to be more conservative about your money. Yeah. I was thinking it was going to be kind of negative, but because of this, it's not. So you're going to find, Ace of Cups showed up, which is very deep emotional fulfillment and joy and just contentment. You're going to be very content emotionally and internally. And I thought it was a bad thing, but, maybe it's not a bad thing. The idea that self-worth is based on physical things is not necessarily a positive thing. But I think in terms of Sagittarius, this is just because, I don't understand it, because I'm not a Sagittarius. You are very conservative about money, but you're going to, with this new information, it's going to bring you a lot of emotional fulfillment and luxury, and you're just going to feel very fulfilled. And it's going to be because your external circumstances are going to be very good. Your money is going to be very good. Your lifestyle is going to be very luxurious. Your physical reality is going to be very abundant, and that's going to bring a lot of fulfillment and joy. What else? Yeah, you're going to step into this High Priestess energy. Just, here. Yeah. This is like The high priestess is like somebody who, first of all, has almost a direct connection to divine energies. You have a very strong intuition and you're very introspective. You really value and like you keep a lot internally. And this is something where I think Sag and Taurus vibe. This is somewhere where me and my ex vibed a lot, where it was because like around anybody else we were just completely different, and we both understood that. We kept a lot inside, and then the second we were together, it was like everything that we really wanted to say, everything that was deep would just spill out. That's this high priestess energy, which is a very strong awareness. That is very strong awareness, because you're just very aware of when you should not, when you need to keep things inside and when you should hold back. And the high priestess shows that it's not going to come from lack of trust. You're not going to not trust yourself anymore. You're going to trust yourself a lot, to the point where you're going to be able to step out into the world with this high priestess energy. Like, I can, all of my wisdom is inside. I can let out what is right to let out, but you'll be intuitive and you'll know when to keep things inside. You'll know when, hey, okay, that's not worth my energy. The high priestess is somebody who, anything that is seemingly out of their control, they can still manifest it. And that is Sagittarius. Like I said, y'all don't have to try, and people just throw things at your feet. The whole world is thrown at your feet, and that's the energy. You're gonna come out of this just like with all of this knowledge and trust, and you're just not even gonna have to try. You're not gonna have to know what's coming, and it's just gonna be thrown at your feet. And the medicine, the spirit that came through, I am so excited about, because it's like literally the first spirit animal that I ever encountered when I was on my shamanic journey. That is firefly spirit. So I want you to look up firefly spirit animal, firefly spirit medicine, and do the research. I really would go into my personal experiences, but your girl does not have time. Like, this was a long reading, but I'm telling you, like, the spirit is so beautiful, and especially in terms of the light. Like, it has that internal light and it knows when to illuminate it. That's the high priestess. You're gonna know, and you're gonna be able to trust when that light should come out and when that light should be turned off, and a lot of other things that you need to research. So do it. I love you all.